Hi, this is Kathleen from Bailey Academy, mom of five, homeschooling two of them, ages 11 and 14. Haven't been around for a bit. Christmas break time has been very crazy, but we are back to school this week, and I wanted to share a video that I promised you last year, at the end of last year, and did not make it. So today I'm talking about the Learn Math Fast system update. So what's working, what we changed, tips after long-term use. Some people were asking me this, and so this is your. Well, I kept putting off this video because just things weren't right and it wasn't the right time and I was busy or whatever. But you know what? I just need to get this video out because I want to share with you how Learn Math Fast has been working since we started using it a couple of years ago. I think it was 2023, possibly, that we were gifted the Learn Math Fast system to review, and I did a unboxing and I did a review right away and some tips on using it. I will link all those videos that are related in the description box. But I wanted to give you an update. So if you see me looking up, I'm just looking at my notes. All right. So again, this is an update, not a first impression. Okay, this is an update, not a first impression. So we are still using Learn Math Fast in our homeschool, and I want to share what's worked, what we adjusted, and tips after real use. So if you don't know what Learn Math Fast is, here's a brief overview. It is a 7-book math program. So it covers math from early basics like 1 + 1 is 2 to pre-algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, and geometry. And so that was just an extra worksheets one, but they look like this mostly. This one's volume 5. And so this is volume 5. This is algebra. And so there's explanations in the books, and there's full answers and solutions included. And so the student can, depending on their age and ability, can work on it themselves, or you can work on it with your student. It is mastery based, not grade based or spiral approach. If you don't know what that means, it just means that you learn all of addition before you move on to subtraction. Learn all of subtraction before you move on to multiplication. You don't do algebra until you've learned everything about fractions and decimals and everything like that. It's designed for kids and adults. So even if you're an adult or you're older, like say my high school student started this, not my high school student, my one that I graduated started Learn Math Fast in grade 10 or 11. I can't remember which year, whatever we're on now. And she went through starting with 1 + 1 = 2, because that's how they recommend you do it. But of course, she flew through the first few books, but it gave her some tips of things that she didn't know or didn't think, or made things easier. And then she quickly was able to get all the way up to her grade 12 math through these books. So how are we using it before? We initially jumped in to help a child, like I said, who was not behind in math, but like needed to catch up on a few things. Okay, so yeah, we initially jumped in. We moved through the early books fairly quickly. Followed the keep going if it makes sense. If they were understanding it, you kept going. And I was able to use it with more than one child. So I was able to use it with all 3 of my children at the same time. They didn't necessarily all have to be in the same book, but if they were, they just took turns doing math. And we used the books by not writing in them so that they could share. So if you're only using one child, they can write directly into the book. This is algebra, mind you, but if not, then yeah, they can definitely work on a whiteboard or a notebook. So that's how we were using it a couple years ago. Now, what's changed? Okay, so like I said, the one graduated. Obviously, she wasn't doing math anymore. Now I have a grade 6 and a grade 9. Mike from the program during the holidays focused on math facts using fun seasonal Christmas math resources I found online. And we just did that for the month of December, and now we're jumping back into Learn Math Fast. And so my daughter has jumped back to book 1, but instead of doing actual book 1 where it like teaches you, book 1 is the only one that comes with an extra book full of worksheets. This is a pretty big book, and it's just worksheets on the different topics. And so again, we don't write in the book, so what I'm having her do is I decided where she should be. She knows addition, so we started with subtraction, and I said pick 10 problems out of the book, do them on the whiteboard, show me the work, and then tomorrow she'll pick 10, and eventually we'll move up to more than 10. And I want her to make sure she's got all those math facts solidified, and if there's something she's not getting, then we'll turn back to the page in volume 1 and reteach it. I'm finding that she's doing better on her own mostly, not so much with the teaching, but at least with the work, whereas my son still needs one-on-one. So that's what we're doing for her. And what we are doing for by going back to book 1, and the fact it doesn't say anything about grades, so like book 1 could be for even adults, rebuilds her confidence in doing math and her mastery. And we're slowing down intentionally. I'm not worrying about where a grade 6 should be in math. I'm just worried about if by the end of grade 12 she's finished all 7 books. That's what we're looking for. My son, like I said, was just finishing book 4 geometry, and now that he's in grade 9, should be moving into algebra, but we may review pre-algebra and geometry due to long breaks. So what kind of long break am I talking about? Well, around here in high school, like in the schools, they do semesters. So they do 4 classes for one semester and 4 classes for a second semester, for a total of 8 classes. And the one semester is 1 whole credit, so they get 8 credits. But the thing is that we did a little bit differently, mind you, but still, we decided to do math just as 1 semester, which means we haven't done math since last June. I do not like that idea, and we will not be doing that next year. Long math gaps, they're not working well for us because he's forgetting what he learned way more than if he just took a summer break. So we're going to do some review of pre-algebra and geometry until I feel he's ready to go on to the algebra book. So what do I love about the program? It's one major purchase, but then it covers years of math. So you make a big purchase. Well, you could buy one book at a time, but if you make a purchase of all the books at once, then you're done from your math from kindergarten or preschool, even at least kindergarten up to grade 12, like basics math. You only need to find something else if your child needs to do like calculus and things like that, or vectors. So like it's just a one and done. It's easy to pause, review, or go backwards when needed, especially if you don't write in the book, because then child can just read the same questions. It works well for families with multiple kids, because again, you just buy the one package. Instead of spending hundreds of dollars on math for each child, you're spending for math for all your children for all their years. So it's way cheaper in that way. There's extra practice sheets available online. The book has a little password. You go into the line. Like I said, volume 1 has its own worksheets, but you can also find them online. And you can find them online for all the classes. So if you find that, the little bit of work that they're giving you for one section, like say decimals, is not enough, your child's not getting it, you just print off some extra worksheets for decimals, and there they go. And it teaches simpler methods that many adults have never learned. Like it taught a couple things, I can't think of what they are at the moment, but taught me and my what was a teenage daughter, now adult daughter, things that we had never learned about, like a way to like do a math solution, like especially percentages and ratios. Like everybody has trouble with that, but like what's 20% of 30? Like I was so lost as to how to figure that out, and apparently it's super easy. Now I know how to do it. So I'm sort of going fast through this. I didn't mean to, but tips for using Learn Math Fast successfully. So 1, don't rush through the early books. Okay, I know, especially if you're starting with an older child or an adult, you're going to seem silly doing 1 + 1 = 2. I'm not saying you have to do 100 questions on that type of style, but make sure you know what you're doing. So there's usually like worksheets, and then there's a little quiz or a test to kind of just see if you know that section. It's not like you don't have to keep scores and write them down. The idea is just to see if you can move on. And don't move on unless your child truly understands it. That's number 2. Number 3, expect to revisit earlier levels. It's okay if you need to. That's a strength, not a failure. It's designed to go from one to the other, but if you have to revisit once or twice, that's okay. If you're revisiting a lot, then you might need to go back and start over. Keep your math consistent. So like I said, don't take a many month break. Even short daily work is better than long breaks. So on days that we don't have a lot of time or we're just really stressed, even if you can just do a couple pages, or not a couple pages, a couple problems, better. If you're using the same book for multiple kids, use a bookmark with their name on it or something so you know who goes where. For older kids, assess them first before skipping sections. Really should not skip sections. But if you feel like this is like way too easy, then have them do the little test and see if they can get all the questions right. And don't skip the explanations without checking for new methods, because you might be like, oh, I know all the ways to do long division, and it might show you something that you didn't know was a thing. So, who is Learn Math Fast a good fit for? Kids or adults who need to catch up in math. Kids who want to move faster through the parts that they know and slower through the parts that they don't know, instead of just always being many pages of math every single day. Families teaching multiple grades. And adults who want to relearn or strengthen their math skills. Even if you know it all, but you just want to like refresh your memory, especially if you're going to be teaching your kids math and you just like, I don't really remember how to do all this stuff. You could go through it, a couple months before your kids do, and so you're ahead of them possibly, and like really solidify your learning. If you're not sure that you want to buy the full set yet, I suggest that if your child is under grade 3, you should buy at least book 1 to get them started and see if you like the program. If your child is in grades 4 plus, buy book 1 and 2 to fully understand, because you can't tell if a grade 4 plus is doing just addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. If the system is really good for you, book 2 is fractions and decimals, so you want to go into that one too. Try it before buying the full set. Also, they do have other things too. In the description is linked to the unboxing. You can see other things that they have special. A big bookmark with like formulas and stuff written on it is really nice. The geometry book comes with a geometry set. All that stuff will be shown in that. Now, who would like to win a Learn Math Fast book? If you are in the U.S., unfortunately I cannot offer this to anyone outside the U.S., but if you're in the U.S. and you would like to try Learn Math Fast, I have a giveaway sponsored by Learn Math Fast for you. So, somebody will win a book of the winner's choice, so you get to choose which one you want. Although, like I said, I don't recommend starting later. So, if you're not sure and your child's really up higher, maybe try that book. But then you should really be going back to the beginning and starting. But yes, you must be in the U.S. only, because that is where they can ship. And so, how to enter? All right. So I want you to be subscribed if you have not already. Give this video a thumbs up so that other people can find it, and then comment below with how your child is doing in math. What part did they struggle with? So, is your child really great in math, or do they struggle? If they struggle, what parts do they find challenging? Or even what part do you find challenging? Because adults can use this too. Or maybe you can even tell me who it's for. Who would you be using with if you want? Is it for you? Is it for grade 1 through 5? Is it high school? Like, just anything like that. Something you like about Learn Math Fast. I'm literally open to any of those kinds of comments, but you must comment. Okay, so this giveaway is open until January 31st, the last day of January 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I will pick a winner with a random YouTube comment picker. And then, so the winner will be tagged on my YouTube channel, and you will have to be checking your notifications on YouTube in order to find it. You'll have 48 hours to contact me, and then I will get your information and send it to Learn Math Fast. If you do not find the information in 48 hours, I'm sorry. So make sure you check your notifications. All right, so US only, one book of your choice, Learn Math Fast. Subscribe, like, and comment. I think that is everything. If you have any questions about things I didn't cover, or that you want more elaboration on about how Learn Math Fast works, or if a certain thing, anything about Learn Math Fast, please also comment about that. It doesn't count as your entry, but you can put 2 comments, one to enter and one to ask a question, or you can put them together. That's fine too. And that is it for now, and I will see you later. Bye.